Hey there. Hey everyone. It's Sophia Whispering Dove, the mum, and we're doing another thing on winter herbs. I'm wearing my best one of my best t-shirts for urban cycling. Just so you know, I like t-shirts. Yeah, so continuing on with our conversation, I use these coils here for splicing in to the wires because if you add the coil in, it adds a very grounding aspect to it. It relates to the phi ratio of because it's a 12-point waveform, and it helps ground that energy down. So that's why it's a good idea to use it. Not essential, but it will definitely help. Okay, so moving along here, I have Uva Ursi. And Uva Ursi looks like that. It will sometimes have little red berries with it, and it grows like a vine, but it's more like a twig. And its other name is, it has a couple of other names. Bearberry and squaw vine are two of its other names. I always knew it as squaw vine, useful for female ailments in regard of it tonifying the uterus. But it also has astringent qualities, and it's also in some ways a purgative. I've written in the notes that you'll have to read and what page to find it on my reference book, the Herb Book by John Lust. It doesn't have everything, but it's pretty good. Uva Ursi is a yang kind of herb, and it's useful in detoxifying or nurturing the blood, more like. And you really notice it when you drink the tea. And this is what I'm hoping, is that people will actually find it in the herb store or go out in the forest and find it yourself like I did and try and drink the tea and see what happens to your body. The next one we have up is Old Man's Beard. Old Man's Beard. I mean, everybody's walked in the forest, sees it hanging from the trees. It's very common. I was told by a native elder that this is what you used for lung infections and for pneumonia. That it is really strong purgative, especially for the lungs. It has other properties that I think are important too. It's called graybeard as well, and it has a tendency towards male conditions, yang treatment for excessive yang, and reduces inflammation inside the body, liver, kidney, gallbladder, and it even says something about for stomach conditions. So read up on it and get some, because I tried it once for a lung infection and it was very helpful. It worked. Yeah. And so the next one here we have is nettle. And nettle is often found near water. It's also known as stinging nettle. It does have those spiky things. I've heard of people drinking the actual juice of it, but I think that that's a bit strong, and I wouldn't do that myself. But it's very soothing. It's a very soothing tea, and the kind of thing you would use for you've had a long day and you're really stressed out and your liver's kind of giving you trouble. So make some nettle tea, throw in some calendula, and you'll be nice and calm, and those things will pass. It definitely, it's a nurturer, it's a blood nurturer, and that's the kind of thing you can use. It also is high in B vitamins. So it is a bit of a purgative, but it's a softer purgative than, say, your Old Man's Beard. And then we have Plantain. Everybody's seen Plantain. I'm not going to pull it out. I mean, if you don't know what Plantain looks like, you really need to educate yourself. It grows everywhere. I remember one time I was at a Earth-type gathering, and my daughter, who was only about 3 at the time, was running around barefoot, and she got these splinters, or sorry, not splinters, slivers in her feet, and she was crying and crying. And there happened to be a doctor who was also a herbologist there at the time, and he said, "Go get some plantain and chew it up and put it on her feet. We'll put it on a poultice for her overnight, and in the morning the slivers were out." So it's very, very good at sucking poisons out of the blood. Let me say that again. It sucks toxins and poisons out of the blood. So useful in many different conditions. They say liver, gallbladder, the wood element in the body, especially good for that. But honestly, in any tea, winter flu tea, you're going to want to put some plantain in there. Yeah. And then here we have thistle, milk thistle. I picked these myself. There's not much left. I'm going to pull it out here. I think it's the last one in there I need to restore. So it doesn't look like much, and they were bright purple when I picked them. Just beautiful. It's really, really good for nurturing the blood and as a liver detoxificant. It definitely is one of those things that you can use for detoxifying your body and your liver, and also nurturing the liver and the gallbladder. And so when you're using this with the other herbs together, it's very potent. You don't need much. Like if you're making a pot of tea, you're going to want like a teaspoon of the ground up milk thistle, and roughly about the same of everything else I've got here. The one thing I didn't put on the paper is fennel, and the other thing was osha. This wasn't in the book for some reason. Anyway, these two, I like to use them for children. Fennel is very gentle, and it's a stomach purgative. It soothes the stomach, and any kind of disorder of the stomach, it calms. And so if they're throwing up, try to get some of this stuff in. And the osha is a really, really fine stimulant. If you're going to use it, you only use a little bit. It clears your throat. It stimulates your immune system. You can chew the root for stimulating open throat for singing. That's often used in native ceremonies, and it's a spirit bringer. So there you go. That's what we have today. I want to bless everyone. Have a great day, and keep fighting the good fight. Cheers.